Right, so I can start. Just a reminder that I'm using some of the content I received from these presenters in our February workshops, so just to give them credit. I just want to check, so I'm suddenly unsure that I didn't put on my sound. Forgive me, I'm not professional in this yet. I just want to check. I'm going to unshare and just make sure I've got sound. Okay, right, so someone asked me about the grid mat that some of you have seen in your boat's coding kit. I thought I'll just show you a quick few seconds from the workshop we had in Bloemfontein in March, just so you can get an idea what we do with a grid mat.
So now I want you to all come to the mat like great friends. We have a penguin that's thirsty. The penguin is thirsty. The penguin is pointing that way. You've got move forward, turn left, turn right. Commands on your table. I want you to look at this and go and pack out the commands on your black cloth with those boats commands I gave you and get the penguin to the water bottle.
Woo! The hand sanitizer is a penguin and a water bottle is the food. You just have to pack out the commands using the small cards so that the penguin can avoid the wall and get to the bottle.
Okay, I trust you saw that. That was just kind of a quick return from last week. We're going to start with this little exercise. I warned you last week that today is kind of complex coding if you've never coded before. So we're kind of going into the second term of first year at varsity today. But I'm going to try my best to make it as easy as possible. So the first pen and paper exercise, you start off with a grid like this that has no blocks colored in. And you say to yourself, you start in the top left-hand corner of the grid. So in the top left-hand corner of the grid, you will start. If someone could just admit the people for me. You start in the top left-hand corner, and you have the commands move right, that moves to the right of the screen, move left, move up, move down, and color. Color means you color the block where the pen is currently. So if you start in the top left-hand corner and you say color, that block will be colored in. And then just give an example, then you would move right and you would move down and you would say color again. So I'm going to give you a minute or so just to write down the commands. So it will look, oops, I gave you the answers there, so I shouldn't go to the next screen. So you're going to start off with C, R, D, and then see whether you can write the other commands to fill in the diagonal of that grid. I'm going to give you a minute or so. Okay, so I hope you can all see that this is more or less what you needed to do. So you color, you go right, you go down, you color, you go right, you go down, and you do that until you've colored the last block in the bottom right. So I just need to go to presentation mode. So the first thing that I want you to give me feedback, and people can just talk to me. If you look at the sequence of commands, what do you see? What is kind of the obvious thing that you see? If someone can just talk to me about it.
Repeated command?
Yes, you see a pattern there. So if you can see, it's CRD, and then another CRD, and CRD. And then very important, at the end, you just have a C. That's not part of the pattern. So I hope you can all see that. So you've got the command CRD repeated 4 times, and then you've got a color at the end. So in terms of coding, what we say here is that you are repeating something. So the way we would write it in pseudocode or coding would be, we say repeat 4 times. What am I repeating 4 times? The commands CRD, that's color, write down, and then I just put in the word end. That specifies that what I'm coloring, what I'm repeating stops here. So in terms of coding, what we have here is, we often refer to it as a for loop. This thing is called a loop, first of all, and this is a typical for loop or repeat loop, where we say the body of the loop, CRD, is repeated 4 times. And then we reach the end of the repeat. And then when we finish with the loop, we do the last color. Okay, so it's important to see that the CRD is the body of the loop, which is repeated 4 times. We end the loop, and then when we've repeated that 4 times, we just do 1 color. Okay, I trust that that makes sense. So to do this in tanks, and I trust that you have your app ready and your puzzle pieces, I want you to look for the repeat token, and then you'll see there's tokens times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, and infinite. So see whether you can find those quickly. I'm going to give you a few seconds to find the repeat token and the 3 to 6 and infinite number of repeats, because we're going to be using them now in your app. Okay, so anyone just shout out to me, what would this command, what would you expect this command to do? Before me explaining it, kind of gut feeling, what do you think this command on the left hand side would do? Anyone?
Are you referring to repeat, John?
Yeah, the repeat on the screen on the left hand side. It says repeat times 3, move forward. Can you all see that?
So we've got repeat times 4 on the screen.
I think you have to scroll down.
Times 4.
So, there we go.
So, but when I...
Okay, we can see it now.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so do you all agree that this kind of gut feeling tells you that the tank will move forward 3 times? So in terms of the loop jargon, this is a for loop, or in this case a repeat for tanks. The body of the loop is move forward, and it moves forward 3 times. All happy with that? Right, so now if we look at level 11, and I'm giving you a hint, you've got to use these 4 tokens on the right hand side. See whether you can get your app to do level 11 using these 4 tokens. I'll give you the answer now, but let's see whether you can do it on your own. So pack out your tokens, take a photo, and see whether your tank moves to the correct position.
Jean, my app won't let me tap anything beyond 10. When I tap 11, 12, 13, it just won't do anything.
That probably means you didn't complete the previous 10 levels. I remember I said last week we need to do...
Yeah, so I've done 10 and 10 are green.
All 10?
Yeah.
That's very strange. I've never had that.
So just keep trying.
Yeah, it will allow you if you've done 3 from the previous row. So from 6 to 10, you need to do at least 3 of those levels for you to be able to go into level 11. I've never had a problem with that. So just make sure that from 6 to 10, there's at least 3 that's green. Okay, I'm hoping that you guys are playing now on tanks, trying to move your tank to the star. Okay, I'm going to go out of presentation mode so that I can move around my tokens here on the screen. So you'll obviously have your start, and then you will go into the repeat loop. At the top of, at the top of your loop, you will put the move forward, but you will see with your tokens that for them to plug in, you obviously need to turn it. So the move forward will plug into the top of the repeat, and you need to move forward 5 times. So the times 5 plugs in at the bottom of the repeat. So your tokens should look like this: start, repeat 5 times, moving forward. So if you take a photo of that combination of your tokens, your tank should move to the star. Are there any comments on this? Any feedback or issues that you think I'm wrong or whatever?
So the shape has to be top and bottom and not just in one straight line now?
Yes, it's top and bottom. So you've got your repeat, and you'll see the repeat has as puzzle pieces, that as indentations that fit onto the move forward. So it must be in this format: start, and then repeat at the bottom, how many times repeated, and above what's repeated.
So John, just to clarify on your side, the repeat represents the loop statement, and then the move forward and the times 5 is what's going on inside the loop. And once that is completed, you would go then to the next step if there's a next step.
Yeah. So your next step, if I had another move, if I say someone is not muted. So if let's say I copy and paste that move forward, I could have another move forward after the repeat. So this kind of simulates the last color we had in the previous round. So this color that comes in after the repeat. So what we have here is it moves forward. This is the body of the loop 5 times. When it's finished moving forward 5 times, the move forward on the right hand side is what's done after the loop. Like in this case, the C was done after the loop. Okay, it's very important in coding to understand that concept, that you've got a loop that's repeating stuff, and then the code carries on after the loop. Any other comments? Okay, can we carry on?
Just a comment there. In terms of the loop, the for statement would be then times 5.
Yes, in terms of, yeah, so it will be 4 times 5.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of coding language.
Yeah. Okay. Right, so to see whether you understood what I've said, and before I explain in more detail, look at this. Don't give me an answer immediately. Use your gut feeling and tell me how many times will the tank move forward. Just wait a few seconds before you give the answer. Or you can type the answer in the comments. So
I'd say 6 times.
Yes, so it will move forward 6 times. So why do we say 6 times? The body of the loop is what's above the repeat. Okay, so the body of the loop is what's above the repeat, and the body of the loop is repeated 3 times. So the moving forward twice is repeated 3 times, which gives you a move forward of 6 times. Now, just something technical which I realize people don't automatically see is that these commands are done from the repeat away. So the body of the loop is the first move forward closest to the repeat is done, and then the commands move away from the repeat. So it's not read from the top to the bottom, it's read from the repeat upwards. It's just the mechanics of the of the tank's code. But the important thing to understand in terms of generic coding is that this move forward is your loop, the body of the loop, that's repeated 3 times. Okay. Any questions before I move on to the next concept? I'm aware that it's a fasten your seatbelts lecture today. Right. So could anyone say to me that knows maths what you would expect without knowing the mechanics of tanks this loop to do?
I think it is going to move infinity.
Yes, it's just going to, in coding, we call it an infinite loop. So it will just keep on moving. Obviously on the screen you've got restrictions. So if you look at the tank screen, you could maybe say it will move until it hits the first wall. But we built something into tanks which I can't really say it's linked to general programming. It's just to make our challenges slightly more interesting. There's something called the concept of early termination, which you will need for most of your challenges from here onwards. Early termination simply means as soon as the tank reaches the star, it stops. It won't keep on moving. So although this is an infinite loop in terms of normal programming, there's a condition built into the tank's language that says when the tank lands on the star, it will stop. So it won't keep on moving infinitely. Does that make sense? Okay. Right, so saying this, I want us to move to level 12. Now, those of you that went ahead, like I know people would do and didn't understand what I've just explained, would have been able to solve this level 12 without a loop. But I want you to now kind of, if you've done it with a loop, congratulations. If you haven't done it with a loop or you haven't done it at all, let's do the same activity we did with the grid just now. So you've got forward, backward, left, right. And on a piece of paper, write down the commands. Forget the limitation of 3 forwards. You've got as many as forwards you can use. Write down the commands that takes the tank to the star. So it starts with forward, forward, and then you continue. And you've got unlimited forwards. It's just a pen and paper activity. Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance just to do that quickly. Okay. So is there anyone that wants to read out to me your commands to get the tank to the star quickly? Let's try and ask someone that hasn't spoken to me yet this afternoon. So what did you write down as your sequence of commands to get the tank to the star? Okay, I'm going to then give you the answer. It's forward, forward, turn right, forward, forward, turn right, forward, forward. Okay. So what do you see again here compared to the grid just now? Is there someone that can see something happening here?
There's a loop of FFR repeated twice.
Yes, there's a loop of FFR repeated twice. But now the trick comes in, and this trick you can use then in following levels. It comes in by saying, let's just add a third R at the back. It doesn't need that but because of early termination, it's not a problem if it's there, because it will stop as soon as it reaches the star. So what we have now is something FFR repeated 3 times by just adding the unnecessary R at the back. Okay, so I'm going to give you a time again. I've given you the hints of the tokens you would need to solve this problem using a loop. So see whether you can solve this problem using a loop by using the tokens I've given you on the right hand side.
Jean, so I had to use the backwards command because I didn't know about this termination condition.
Yeah. That's why I'm showing you tricks now that helps.
Yeah.
Get to
I
level
like
3.
figuring it out.
Yeah, if you didn't do the loops thing, you would have used 3 forwards and then turn and backwards, etc.
Mm.
I hope some of you are having joy on that side using the repeat to do level 12.
Yay, done.
Good. Give me a hand clap if you've done it, if you've succeeded. Don't need to say anything, I'll just know you've done it. Okay, so let me show you the solution. So you would start, I need to start at the bottom, start and repeat. Now looking at that thing, we've got something that's repeated 3 times, so we put the times 3 at the bottom. And the what is repeated 3 times? What's the body of the loop? Move forward, turn right. So we take this move forward, plug it in there. It's not really square, but I shouldn't worry about that now. And then you take the second move forward, plug it in there. Shouldn't worry. And then at the top you put your turn right. Okay, so notice this move forward, turn right. Simulates what we wrote down just now. Move forward, turn right. So the first time it's done, the tank will move against the wall and point downwards. The second time it's done, the tank will move to the bottom here and point left. And then it will move forward, reach the star. It won't do the last turn right because of the early termination rule. Okay, maybe I should give you just a minute just to see whether you can now get it working on your side. Someone says, why is the turn right on the top? It's simply because the body of the loop is executed from the repeat away. So we first do the move forward, then the move forward, then the turn right. So don't think of reading from the top to the bottom. You're reading from a repeat away from it. So it's move forward, turn right. Move forward, turn right. Okay. Can I get a hand clap from someone that got it working now? You guys are much too shy. You make it very difficult for me to teach to a blank screen. Okay, I'm assuming you're ready. You can come back and watch the video again if I'm going too fast, but I'm aware that, yeah, we're going to run out of time, and and I'm also aware that this is complex stuff. Okay, let's go to level 14. In level 14, I'm giving you a hint. See whether you can use your tokens, the tokens that I'm showing you on the screen, to solve this challenge. There's obviously more than one way to solve this. Interesting, while you're busy, I've had learners that say they don't like shooting, so they just turn left and go around and come down to the star, so they don't need to shoot them. But that's a difficult solution. Let's try and use the shoot and see whether you can solve this one. I see there's a question about the while path clear. I'll get back to while now, so then we can look at that. I'm clever today. I'm also logged in on my phone, so I can read the comments. That's how one learns. Give me a yay if you've managed to do it. I'm hoping to get more than one yay this time.
Yes, yay, but I cheated. I did it over the weekend.
But did you use it using my tokens?
Yeah.
Gave you now. Because there's different ways to kill a cat in this one.
So my solutions are different.
Yeah. So the challenge is use the tokens that I provided you now. But I'm not saying mine's the best. Okay, let's see how to do it. When we look at this challenge, it's important to break it up into two parts. We've got to shoot away three heaps of rubble. So obviously to shoot away 3 heaps of rubble, we need a repeat. Sorry, let's go to. So we say start, repeat 3 times, shoot. Okay, so let that sink in first. So what will this command do? The tank won't move, it will stand where it is, and it will shoot 3 times. So when we finish shooting 3 times, the 3 heaps of rubble are gone. So now the path is clear to the star. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moves. Now you could do different ways to solve this. Since it's 8 moves, you could say let's move twice 4 times, which would probably be a better solution, but I actually didn't think about that. So what I did here is I said okay, I need to copy the repeat, sorry. Running out of repeat here. So I say, maybe that was unfair that I didn't give you 2 repeats. So I'm repeating 3 times, moving forward twice. Okay, so if you look at this solution, it first shoots 3 times, which just gets rid of the rubble. And then it says move forward twice 3 times. So if you see that is 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Okay, my solution.
It doesn't get you there if you've got 2 times 3s. I had to use a times 4 at the end. Yeah,
I realize now that my token. So I totally threw you guys here, but you should be. So you should make this times 4. Okay, move forward twice, 4 times. My apologies for that. So this times 3, the last one should be a times 4. Okay. So the important thing to see here is in a generic solution is to look at your problem and to try and break it up into smaller parts. You can use much less tokens to solve this, but that won't be a very clean solution. Maybe I should quickly show you what I could have done. I'm trying to find a repeat, infinite. So I could have simply put infinite here and shoot and move forward. Just that. A very dirty solution. So it will infinitely shoot and move forward. So it will shoot 1 rubble away, move forward, shoot 1 rubble away, move forward. And by the 3rd rubble, it will keep on shooting. But because of the early termination, it will do this until it reaches the star. So that would be a very dirty solution to this. So you'll find that learners do different solutions, and then you can discuss if you want to go there, the concept of optimization. What is the quickest solution? Because this is a short code, but it's going to take the tank much longer to get to the star. And interesting, we found this in tournaments where the learners have to go through the levels as quick as possible. If they don't have the quickest solution, other teams can go quicker than them. But that's a discussion for probably another day. Okay, I need to move on, unfortunately, and I keep on saying to myself, you can come back and watch this video again if I'm going too fast. Right, so the while loop. In programming, you basically have two types of loop. The for loop is where you know exactly how many times you're going to repeat the body of the loop. So that's why the repeat would say times 2, times 3, times 4. The infinite is kind of something different. We don't like the infinite loop. But the for loop normally says I'm going to do it so many times. The while loop is a different concept. The while loop says I'm going to do it while a certain condition is still true. So in this case, I'm saying move forward. The body of the loop is still at the top. But I must move forward while my path is clear, while there's nothing in my way. So there's two things that could be in the tank's way. The one is a wall, and the other is a piece of rubble. Okay, a heap of rubble. So those are the two things that would make the path not clear. So if we now go back to level 11, see whether you know what to do here. You've got those 4 tokens, and this time I think I did it correctly. I don't think you need any other tokens. You should be able to use those 4 tokens to get your tank to reach the star. Once again, using the early termination rule.
Sorry, does the while go in the middle where the repeat would have gone?
Yes, the while would go here, where the repeat used to be. And then you will see your indentations on your puzzle pieces should give you a hint on where to put the path clear. There's a little triangle indentation. Okay, so your solution should look something like this. You put your path clear that plugs into the while at the bottom, and you take and you put your move forward, again, the body of the loop at the top. So this represents a while loop, which says, while my path is clear, do the body of the loop. And again, the body of the loop can be anything at the top here. While my path is clear, do the body of the loop. And in this case, it says, while my path is clear, move forward. So your tank will keep on moving forward. Notice the star is not an obstacle, but the early termination rule says once you reach the star, the tank will be happy and it will stop. Any comments on this? You might be thinking that we're just playing tanks here. We are doing that, but I'm also introducing a lot of coding concepts that I would introduce to students in the first 6 months of an introductory university program. So this is obviously not for grade 3s or grade 4s. One would probably do this from, well, I don't know, you guys know better than me, grade 5, 6 and upwards. Although I've got an 8-year-old young Port Elizabeth that played tanks, and on his own he got to level 30. Within 2 days. So, but your general kid, this wouldn't be for grade 4s, I guess.
I love the twist of the repeat card and now the while card, and this is awesome.
Yeah, so you can go back to levels and discuss optimization, etc. Okay, now this is just a challenge. Don't shout out the answer yet. Try and use everything I've taught you up to now to see how many times will the tank move forwards. In coding, this is called a nested loop, one loop inside another. So just to kind of give you a hint, remember what I said, for a repeat, the body of the loop is everything on top of the repeat. That is the body of the loop. And this is kind of the second most difficult code we'll do today. Okay, anyone want to shout out a guess or an answer if it's not a guess? Anyone want to try? It's not 27. I see a 9. Okay, let's look at the logic here. If I look at the repeat that's next to the start, that is my first repeat. That repeat says something must be repeated 3 times, and times 3 at the bottom. Now I say to myself, what must be repeated 3 times? So what is the body of the first repeat? And the body of the first repeat is another repeat. So now we just look at the body of the repeat, of the second repeat. We forget about the first one, we look at the second one at the top. And this second one, how many times does it move the tank forward? The one that's horizontally at the top. It moves the tank forward 3 times. It's just a normal repeat. Move forward 3 times. So the thing that moves the tank forward 3 times is repeated 3 times. So I hope by now you can see that it's moving the tank forward 9 times. So I'm just going to repeat this. This is a nested for loop. So we come in at the start. Can you see? I'm not sure whether you can see my cursor. We come in at the start. We move into the first repeat next to the start. This repeat says something is repeated 3 times. So what is repeated 3 times? Whatever's on top of the repeat. What is on top of the repeat? Another repeat. What does that other, the second repeat, do? It moves the tank forward 3 times. So if it moves the tank forward 3 times, and that action is repeated 3 times, it will move the tank forward 9 times. Okay. Right, this is higher grade, your higher grade code for the day and for the 4 workshops. Let me quickly explain this game. It's a pen and paper game I developed for Amazon, who's very renewable energy interested. So it's not an app, it's just a pen and paper game. So what we have here is we've got Supercopter. You can see Supercopter here pointing upwards. Supercopter can fly over a coal plant. A coal plant is not an obstacle. The only obstacles here are walls. So Supercopter can fly over a coal plant. As soon as it flies over a coal plant, it changes the coal plant into a solar farm. Okay. So the only obstacles here are walls. So the wild path clear is only relevant to walls. So I want you to look at the code on the left-hand side. This is now really higher grade stuff. And try and work out where Supercopter will end. Where will Supercopter end after this piece of code? Okay, I'm going to go out of presentation mode so I can do some simulation. So where will supercopter end? I'm just going to be playing here for a while. I know it's going to be difficult for you to give me your answer, so I'm going to give you a minute or two, and then you can check what your answer is, whether your answer agrees with mine. Very important to check the logic. You've got start going into a repeat. That repeat says something is repeated 3 times. And then you need to say to yourself, what is repeated 3 times? Okay, so can I walk you through the answer? I know I'm going too quick, but I see it's already 4:45. So the start comes in and it sees a repeat that repeats something 3 times. Now we need to say to ourselves, what is repeated 3 times? Everything on top of the repeat. So what is on top of the repeat? What's the body of this repeat? It's a while loop followed by a turn right. So what does the while loop do? The while loop says move forward while my path is clear, and then turn right. So move forward while my path is clear and then turn right is repeated 3 times. Okay, so let's go out of presentation mode. I'm just going to bring in my little supercopter here. So if I do the body of the loop the first time, while my path is clear, we'll take supercopter until it hits the wall there, and then it will turn right. That's the first time the body of the loop is done, my supercopter is there. Then the body of the loop is done the second time, which says while my path is clear, move forward. So it will move forward until it hits that wall, and then it will turn right. And then the third time the body of the loop is done, it will move forward until it hits the wall and then turn right. Okay, so that's where the supercopter will end. This position here. Okay, sorry for that one, but that was high grade. I just want to quickly, you can go and play around with this. The solution to the helicopter one is exactly the same as the solution for level 15. So those of you that went forward should have probably had a lot of more tokens. Notice level 15 says, move forward until you hit a wall, then turn right. Move forward until you hit a wall, then turn right. Move forward until you hit the wall, but because of early termination, it reaches the star. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I want to quickly introduce the if statement. And that's the last coding statement. The if statement simply asks a question. It says, if my path is blocked, so if the answer is yes, I must do something. If the path is not blocked, if the answer is no, I must do something. So that is a typical way of using the if statement. So I'm going to infinitely ask the question, is the path blocked? If it is blocked, I can turn right. If it is not blocked, I can move forward. Okay, so it keeps on asking this question. Can anyone tell me when will it stop? Because it's an infinite loop, the only time it can stop is when it reaches a star. If it doesn't reach a star, it's just going to keep on forever. The only thing that can stop an infinite loop in tanks is a star.
What if it said, what if you needed to turn left?
Well, then you would just replace the turn right here with the turn left. You can put any tokens up here.
No, but your question was the only thing that would stop it. Okay,
Well,
all right.
Yeah,
I get it.
If it gets a wall, it's just going to keep on hitting against the wall. It won't go further, but the code won't stop. It'll just keep on hitting. Now, just a little trick. Can you see that this if statement is also a solution for level 12? It simply says, remember, it just keeps on asking the question, is my path clear or is my path blocked? If my path is blocked, I must turn right. Otherwise, I just move forward. So the tank is here. Path is not blocked, move forward. Path is not blocked, move forward. Path is blocked, turn right. Path is not blocked, move forward. Path is not blocked, move forward. Path is blocked, turn right. Path is not blocked, move forward. Path is not blocked, move forward. It reaches the star and it terminates. We probably need more time to look at this, but I just wanted to hint at this. You can come back, watch the video again, or experiment in tanks. Okay, I just want to quickly tell you that with your tokens, you can also play the Rangers game. So just quickly watch this video.
In addition to tanks, we have also launched 2 new coding apps using the same mechanism as tanks, while also introducing learners to coding. Both relate to the challenge of plastics in the ocean, while Rangers is concerned with game poaching in Africa. Related information is provided while interacting with the app.
Okay, so the Rangers game, obviously Boats doesn't use these tokens.
In addition to tanks,
the Rangers game uses exactly the same puzzles. It's just another app you can download, unfortunately only for Android. And the Rangers game, we've changed the shoot to not shooting away rubble, but to throwing a net at a poacher. So this command, start shoot, will do the following. It throws a net and you try and catch the poacher. So you can download that app. I just want to quickly show you. And there's a lot of new interesting challenges in Rangers that's slightly different to tanks. Okay, so this would be a solution for one of the levels in Rangers. The game poacher moves forward 3 times, turns left, then doesn't need to move all the way to the poacher. The game ranger moves forward 3 times, turns left, and then shoots the net at the game poacher. Okay, I don't want to spend time on this. You can go play. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the workshop. I just want to quickly summarize some of the things. The next 2 slides is commercialization. I always feel guilty about that, but if you are interested, why not tell you? The Tanks School Kit is one of our products that we sell to schools. It contains 8 of those game sets, 7 lesson plans with practical activities, the instructional videos that takes you through the levels, and then very important, the levels printed out. So if you don't have enough phones for the class, they get printouts, and you can have roaming phones that shows the kids whether their solutions work. The Tank School Kit is sold at 3,000 Rand, but it's enough for a class of 40. And then the Boats School Kit, which you saw, which we used last week and the first week, it has these 7 lesson plans and a lot of resources, printed resources that goes along with each lesson plan. It also interacts with the Boats app, and it's 1,500. I decided this morning to make it 1,750 because it's very labor intensive to put together this kit, but you guys can still get it for 1,500. This is for primary school foundation phase. If you're interested, you can email me afterwards. And then what we are doing for everyone that has the Boats app, by next semester, probably around 130 schools will already have the Boats app. Kelly Bush, who did the lesson plans, are going to do every second week, she's going to do a train the trainer workshop on Zoom or Teams, I'm not sure, where she'll take teachers through 2 lessons every second week. So teachers who has the Boats kits can tune in or watch the videos afterwards, and she will show them how to apply the lessons in class. And obviously there's no cost to this, but but you need to have the boats kit, otherwise it won't make sense. You can email me about this afterwards. Then just a few ideas on how you can use tanks in the school. I think by now you realize that workshops is the best way, having kids working in groups. And I've done this personally with about 2,000 kids. We've done these kind of workshops reaching about 25,000 kids, and it always works. It's always great fun. Tournaments, because you have the levels and your app allows you to reset back to all the levels, back to black or red. You can have kids playing in groups and see who gets the furthest in 45 minutes. Even if they've played the game before, it checks whether they can optimize the solutions. Or you can suddenly then throw ranges at them if they haven't seen ranges before. Coding clubs, that seems to be the most popular thing at the moment. Schools that are starting tanks coding clubs after school or during break, because the curriculum is just too full for most schools. So I'm hearing more and more stories of coding clubs starting at schools or in communities. I've heard of a coding club literally starting on the pavement in the community. Learners Drive, if you've ever done this with kids, you'll find out that you don't need to know all the answers. This is a photo taken in Kala, where the teacher just put up the instructional videos in a data projector, and the kids were watching the videos and then playing on their own. So it's a project that the learners actually drive. The teacher just needs to be the facilitator. You can obviously start talking about optimization and all those issues if you want to. Leander Oosthuizen at Alexander Road. She's incorporating it into her grade 8 and 9 technology lessons as part of, and also in her coding club in the afternoons. I love this photo. You saw the grid carpet mat at the start of the video I showed you. This teacher it's somewhere in Soweto doesn't have the boats kit, but he has tiles. And he did it in one of my workshops, so he created his own grid mat, put down obstacles on the tiles, and just watch the body language. These kids in the top left are watching the grid. These guys are busy solving their solutions. I just love the body language of this photo. A whole class interacting with coding, and all you need is tiles or your own grid. You don't need anything else. Then just, if you know of any learners, we can't take in a whole class. I've made videos last year for my first years teaching them C#. So we're running we call it a C# coding club over the July holidays, where they will be watching my videos and coding on their cell phones. And they will have this online student assistant that can assist them. So if you have, let's call them bright sparks or guys that really show interest, talk to me afterwards and I can bring you in contact with the student that's organizing this. But please, I can't manage 30 learners from one school. We can probably only maximum take about 20 to 30 across the country. So this is if you know learners that are really showing talent or passion for coding, please contact me. My last slide for the 4 workshops. Yolanda Jordan grew up in Mount Frere, north of Mthatha, where she never saw a computer at school, but she read the Da Vinci Code, which talks about algorithms, cloud computing. That made her to start dreaming. And that made her 5 years later to register for a computer science degree with us. Now, I'm saying all this coding unplugged stuff, even if your learners never get to a computer, you're introducing coding to them, and hopefully you're getting some of them to start dreaming. And maybe they'll see their first computer after matric. That's not important. But you spark something in their career horizons to get them to study computers one day. And I want to end up with this little video, which was taken at the Science Center in Uitenhage. And this is what I'm talking about, having a dream.
The excitement is mounting.
It will help me when I want to work at VW so that I can program the robots there at VW.
That's what I want to see from the Coding Unplugged. Having kids having these kind of dreams across our country. Obviously, if they have access to computers, better. But those 16,000 schools that don't have computers, that doesn't mean our learners can't start dreaming.
Thanks.
And then just the last comment, if you've attended all 4 workshops, I have no ways of checking this. I'll use your integrity. You can send me an email and we can give you a certificate that says that you've attended these Coding Unplugged workshops. It's unfortunately not a university certificate. I'm not allowed to issue that because it's not a certified university course, but hopefully this could at least help you to show it to someone. Thank you very much for joining in these 4 workshops. I would love to get feedback from you afterwards as you start implementing stuff. Don't be shy. We love to see that these things make a difference across our country. This is a video made at Alexander Road High last year, just before COVID, at 6 o'clock in the morning. 120 learners playing tanks. And it was actually a tournament. We had a winning team. I think that was the winning team. But these are kids playing at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was the only facilitator, just showing what you can do at your schools. Fortunately, yeah, we had enough phones for every group. But if you don't have enough phones, you can have the levels printed out and a roaming phone. Thank you very much for joining in. Any last comments, questions from your side? But you're welcome to email me if anything was unsure. Okay.
Yeah, Prof.
Yes, questions?
I wanted to check if is this the last workshop?
Yes, this is the last one. We said there would be 4. So this is the last one of the 4.
All right.
But then we obviously, as I said, we're starting with boats workshops early next semester for primary school foundation phase teachers that have the boats kit. But from my side, I'm not planning anything else now at this stage. Okay. Thank you very much for joining.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, go for it.
Can we qualify for the certificate if we watch the videos afterwards?
Yes, obviously. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Is it possible that we can get your information again? Sorry, I couldn't take a photo.
Okay, sorry. I'll type it in on the comment, but I'll also... That's my email address. You can just email me if you have any other questions. John Greyling at mandela.ac.za. And I'm very selfish if I say, please give me feedback, send me photos of what you do. It's just a way of knowing what's happening out there. And I'll be honest, I'm trying to start a movement on Coding Unplugged in the country. So I'm a very active social media presence. So any photos I'm getting of stuff that you do, and if we can put it on social media, we're getting more and more people interested in this kind of coding. Because we need to reach those 16,000 schools that don't have computers.